This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
So as we reach the end of this wild week here in these United States, I think we can pretty much conclude that most of our problems in this country can be attributed to one group. It's not the official title of the group because it's too long, but I think we could call them angry white ladies for Somali scammers and Ecuadorian child molesters. That's their position as we speak. They're dedicating their lives. These are women and really effeminate men like Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, who have devoted themselves to protecting illegal aliens who scam taxpayers and rape children. That's where we are right now. While the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol are working tirelessly, fearlessly to round up these illegal alien criminals, they're facing resistance, mainly from angry white ladies like Renee Good and her wife. We will get to her. But last night, you knew this was coming. You knew it wasn't going to be limited to Minneapolis. You knew that wasn't going to just be this one crime scene, that it was going to spread. Because you have these people all across the country, these liberals, these Democrats, these radicals, who have empty lives, no meaning in their lives, and they've kind of found some meaning with fellow travelers who hate ICE, who hate law enforcement, who want illegal alien criminals in their neighborhoods, who want to be living next door to child molesters, who want their taxpayers stolen from these pirates that imported from Somalia, and they're going to do whatever it takes to protect their neighbors. That's what Renee Good was doing when she blocked traffic, when she tried to run over an ICE agent, lost her life. She gave her life in the cause of protecting Somalian criminals in her adopted home city. She wasn't from Minneapolis. She was a lost soul who moved to Canada after Trump was elected, but didn't stay long. She knew she could meet people, like-minded people, if she went to Minneapolis. She enrolled her son, her poor 6-year-old son, in a charter school that puts social justice first. There she met others like her who hate federal law enforcement and love illegal alien criminals. And she finally found meaning in her life. And she lost her life. She died trying to stop ICE from arresting, deporting these criminals. Her wife was with her. She was outside the car, videotaping, hoping for that viral moment when they would drag Renee out of the car and arrest her. That's what she was there for. That's what she did all day. She stalked, tracked ICE vehicles and tried to stop them from arresting violent criminals. But here, if you want to understand this problem we have in the country right now, which is coming to a head, we are having a showdown right now between these radicals, these lunatics, these lost souls who aren't out there, trying to protest against war or abortion rights, or for higher taxes or whatever, more money for education. They don't have a coherent message. Their message is stop arresting illegal alien criminals. Now, we've gone over this before. If they want to blame someone, they should blame Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Alejandro Mayorkas, who imported all these criminals. And last year, we elected someone who promised to get them out. That was the number one issue. So Donald Trump and his administration are doing what they were elected to do. Thank God we have enough patriots who joined ICE and Border Patrol and are willing to put their lives on the line to repair the damage that Biden did and make this country safer. But they're coming across real resistance, mainly from these pathetic, empty souls, these people who just they don't have a coherent thought. They operate on emotion. They think they've found a group, they found belonging with other people like them who hate the federal government, who hate Trump most of all, but they really hate Kristi Noem, and they hate Tom Homan and Stephen Miller and Greg Bavino, that ballsy 60-year-old leader of ICE who's out there on the front lines. They despise these people. They want them dead. They want martyrs. They got their martyr, and now they're in a full state of rage. So it's going to get much worse before it gets better. Before we get to Portland, the latest incident, I just want to show this from Minneapolis yesterday. You had reporters, real reporters, not Minneapolis Star Tribune and New York Times. You had citizen journalists like Nick Sorter and the Daily Wire out there. Here is the Daily Wire reporter talking to a woman who was there at the vigil for Renee Good and protesting against ICE in her city. Listen to this.
So, I'm just walking around kind of just day-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Why do you think, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, where that stems from. Part of it is being like a white woman that I'm privileged and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when Black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them. And so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work 2 miles from here. So driving by, it was like, I'm here. I'm 2 miles. I can stop.
She doesn't know if she should be there because she's white, and she's crying and saying Black people have been experiencing, Black and brown people, you got to say that, have been experiencing it for years. So a fellow angry white lady got killed by a ICE agent whom she was trying to kill, trying to run down with her car, trying to block them from doing their job. She's upset. She's weeping, or at least fake crying, but she doesn't feel right because she has white privilege. There's no hope for that person right there. There's no hope for communities that are filled with them, that are controlled by them. There's just no hope. And that is why we have this irreparable divide here. It's happening in blue states, blue cities, and it's going to get worse. So I'm sitting there last night watching the Fiesta Bowl, which was a terrific game, and the news breaks. We find it's happened again. We have another showdown between the forces of darkness, the illegal alien criminals and their white lady supporters, and the heroic federal agents. So the news breaks that in Portland, you knew it was coming. Here's the story from the Daily Wire. A suspected member of the notorious Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, attempted to run over federal immigration officers in Portland. One Border Patrol officer pulled a gun and fired a, quote, defensive shot at the vehicle. The suspected gang member and his passenger, also suspected of gang ties, sped off. At 2:19 Pacific time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland. The passenger of the vehicle in target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with Tren de Aragua's prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland, Homeland Security said. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of TDA. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement agents. So there's the summary of what went down in Portland. So you're saying, wow, they're doing it again. They're trying to kill federal agents with their cars. It's kind of the latest trend that we're seeing out there, which is obviously what Renee Good tried to do in Minneapolis, lost her life. So these TDA gang members were stopped. They're wanted. Obviously, they were going to be arrested and deported, and they decided to try to run over a Border Patrol agent. I'm saying, wow, it is getting dangerous out there for our federal agents, our heroic law enforcement officials. So what do I do then? I look for the news. I get online. I say, I want the latest. I want to hear some details. Maybe is there video? No, but there was a press conference. And I'm thinking, can a Democrat, can a mayor, can a governor in a blue state finally defend ICE, or in this case, CBP? Can they defend federal law enforcement officials whose lives are in danger in their cities, who are the federal officials, federal agents who are trying to get gang members, vicious killers, gang members running prostitution rings in their cities? Can they at least applaud the feds for trying to get the worst of the worst out? Well, I guess I should have known. It is Oregon, which means you have one of those miserable, angry white ladies as governor. Yes, Tina Kotek. If you don't remember her, she's the woman who I guess is she's got the boys' regular haircut, the black glasses, right out of Central Casting. And I'm saying, can she at least bring herself to not go full Tim Walz, to say, these are bad people, and at least they're focusing on them. They're not, scaring our neighbors and rounding up brown people. At least we can feel safer knowing they got two vicious TDA gang members off the street. They drove away, but they were apprehended shortly thereafter. They're in custody. They're wounded. The heroic officer hit them both, wounded them. They're not dead. They didn't kill them, but they hurt them, and they're going to be taken into custody, arrested, hopefully deported. But again, this is Portland, Oregon. This is blue America. This is the enemy. That's what this is. These are the enemy of these United States, the elected Democrats. A whole stage full of them. If you're looking at the picture right here, all of them. There's a mayor, police chief, all kinds of these. I mean, again, it's the Star Wars bar scene, all kinds of these misfits and mutants around her. Every single one of them blamed the Border Patrol agent. Yes, not even a mention of the fact that two violent gang members were taken off the streets of their city, out of their state. No, they are there to protect vicious Venezuelan gang members who are running a prostitution ring in their state. That's how bad it has gotten for these lunatics. Let's listen to governor. Yes, this is the elected governor of a state, the state of Oregon. Go ahead.
We are standing here today, united as a state, wanting peace and safety in our communities. We are all shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration. This time in our own state, in our largest city, coming just one day after the tragedy in Minnesota.
She goes on, blames it all on Trump, Border Patrol, ICE. She's in Portland, Oregon, and gang members are running a prostitution ring, and the elected governor blames Trump, blames the Border Patrol. That wasn't it, man. It just went from there. I couldn't stop watching. Here's a city council member in an American city in the Northwest. He's come even farther than those gang members from Venezuela. He's come from Somalia. So we have a Somalian city council member in an American city blaming Trump and the federal government for arresting and shooting murderous Venezuelan gang members who tried to kill them. This is absolute lunacy. We are living in an absolute insane time. These are elected officials in America who can barely speak English, in this case, who is saying, get out of my city, telling American law enforcement agents to get out of his city. This is, let me get his name right, KC Jama. KC Jama, a Somalian native, now telling Americans to get out of his city. Go ahead.
Let me say to this federal agencies and ICE, this is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community.
You need to get the hell out of our community, says the Somalian guy in Portland, Oregon. This isn't just peak insanity where we're at. And again, it's going to get worse. They're not interested in, the law, following the law. They're not interested in the supremacy clause. These are outlaw areas, states, regions, cities. These are, you have, and this isn't some activist. This isn't Renee Good, this devoted anti-ICE agitator. This man is drawing a check. This man has an office. This man gets to vote, make law in an American city, ordering the federal government, who are there to arrest Venezuelan gang members, ordering them to get out of his city. If you're a Democrat, this is what you support. This is what you voted for. You lost, thank God. And again, we just shudder at the thought of what this country would be like if Trump had lost. You could say what you want about Trump, the person and the personality and the bluster. He's a bulwark. That's what he is. He's a bulwark against this spreading even further, this sickness we're living through, which is rearing its ugly head now. They can't go through proper channels. They can't say, we're going to change the law. We're going to elect more Democrats. We're going to pass more referendum. We are going to rage against the evil orange man, which is what is happening in Minneapolis right now. It's happening in New York. It's happening in Philadelphia. This is why it's going to get worse, because this is now the accepted tactic of the opposition, of the resistance. It was everywhere last night, and it's going to get worse. We're heading into the weekend. I'm not sure what the weather is in these various blue cities. They were marching in Boston last night. I watched the video of this march that went to City Hall. Thousands of people. I swear to God, I was trying to find no people of color, no Somalians, no Haitians, just white ladies and effeminate white guys fighting, marching to protect the criminals, like the Haitians who are bilking the SNAP system here in Massachusetts, or the Somalis who are scamming taxpayers in Maine. They're fighting for them. That's who they're fighting. They don't, the Somalis don't give a damn about the white ladies. They don't give a damn about Renee Good. They're probably saying, what a fool. What an idiot she is. Got herself killed. They're just interested in coming up with the next scam and hoping that they have elected officials like this Somalian guy to protect them. Before we get to back to Minneapolis and the latest going on there, I want to play this Philadelphia because it's going to happen everywhere. ICE is not stopping. They've made that clear. Trump and Miller and Bowman have made it clear. They're not giving up. Tim Walz begged them to leave us alone yesterday. He said, I'm exhausted. Yeah, he's exhausted. It takes a lot of effort and energy to run $1 billion scam in your state and protect criminals. So he's exhausted. He's begging the Trump administration, just leave us alone. Leave us alone. So just leave the child molesters and the Somali scammers. Just leave them alone, please. They're not going to do it. I get bad news for you, Tampon. They're not going to leave you alone. They're going nowhere. In fact, they're gonna go flood the zone, as Holman says, in all these blue places, because that's their job. Enforce the law written by Congress. Enforce our immigration laws. Well, they're getting ready in other cities for ICE. And obviously, we know in sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, they will not help ICE. They will not protect ICE. Renee Good is dead for a number of reasons. Number one being she put herself in this position, tried to run down an ICE agent. But if it wasn't a sanctuary city, Minneapolis, sanctuary state, under criminals like Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, the Minneapolis cops would have been there for crowd control, traffic control. They would have told her to move before ICE was even involved. But they will not let their cops cooperate with the feds. That's a big, big problem in these blue cities. And it was Rich yesterday, Walz, demanding that the feds, the FBI, allow Minneapolis cops to participate, to be involved in the investigation of the shooting. And they're railing against their lack of cooperation from the feds after refusing to cooperate with them, which would have prevented this tragedy. But other blue cities like Philadelphia are bracing for an influx of ICE agents because it's going to happen. There are a lot of illegal alien criminals in Philadelphia, a lot. There's a lot of problems there. But in Philly, you have the same thing. You have radicals. You have Larry Krasner as a DA, who's again railing, saying ICE shouldn't come to our city, vowing to arrest them if they go there. Arrest ICE. You have people in California like Eric Swalwell is asking Gavin Newsom to suspend all the driver's licenses for ICE agents if they come to California to arrest illegal aliens and maybe expose the massive fraud going on. Take away their driver's license. They can't do that. Passing laws saying they can't wear masks, just nuts. Here's Philadelphia. Here's a sheriff of the Philadelphia Police Department. Yes, Philadelphia, a really crime-ridden place. This is one of the top cops, the sheriff, talking about what she's going to do if ICE comes into her city. This is absolute madness. Listen to her.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said? Mm-hmm. No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who said he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you get arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing, because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way. Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law.
That is that is the sheriff of Philadelphia. Not only against legal law, but moral law, saying ICE is fake. I'm sorry, lady. Maybe you haven't read up, but there's a thing called immigration law, federal immigration law. We've had it on the books forever. It used to be enforced by Democrats, Republicans, and then you had the lawless Biden administration that said, we're not going to enforce federal law. We're going to let everyone in. We're not going to ask for we're going to catch them and release them. Gang members, killers, terrorists. And now ICE is doing its job. And this lady, a sheriff, repeats BLM slogans, say her name, Renee Good, and then comes to the conclusion that she was murdered by an ICE agent and says they're going to arrest ICE if they come to Philadelphia. That is frightening. That is a BLM activist with a badge in a major American city. That woman is on the job today, pulling people over, arresting, investigating crime. You think she's impartial? You think she's a impartial judge, arbiter when she pulls you over? Or do you think it matters, what color you are or what your political ideology is? So ICE is going to go into Philly, and what's she going to do? She's going to demand they don't wear masks. We all know why they're wearing masks. Hell, we got pretty good evidence of it in Philadelphia. In Minneapolis. Do you know what the front page of the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, which is perhaps the most corrupt media outlet in America, the CEO is a pal of Tim Walz, a former aide of Tim Walz. They have covered up for Tim Walz for years. You know what they did on the front page yesterday? They named the officer who shot Renee Good. They named him so he could be doxxed and harassed and maybe killed. That's what they want. That's it. And then their whole narrative fell apart. They said Renee Good was just a 37-year-old mother who dropped her kid off at school. That school that focuses on social justice for first graders, dropped her kid off at school and then was just driving by. I can't imagine what we'd be living through if we didn't have the video, if we didn't know exactly what she did, if we didn't show it to you. We showed it yesterday. She spun her tires, which were pointing right at the agent. Fortunately, it was slippery, and they spun out a little bit before she could kill him. He responded in self-defense and shot her. Well, this is why she's dead, because she put herself in that position. And the state didn't provide any help from law enforcement. This is from the New York Post. Renee Good, the mom who was killed by a federal agent after veering her car toward him, was an anti-ICE warrior, part of a group of activists who worked to document and resist the federal immigration crackdown. She moved to the city just to do this. She linked up with the anti-ICE activists through her 6-year-old son's woke charter school, which puts social justice first and involves kids in political and social activism. 6-year-olds. She was a warrior. She died doing what was right, said a mother named Lisa, whose son attends the same school. Good and her wife, Rebecca, were raising the boy together in the working class neighborhood of South Minneapolis, which features tree-lined streets and a large number of homes with LGBTQ flags and pictures of George Floyd. Good sent her son to the Southside Family Charter School, which has been, quote, unabashedly dedicated to social justice, according to its founder. It was through this involvement that she became involved with ICE Watch, a loose coalition of activists dedicated to disrupting ICE raids in the sanctuary city. Goes on and on. This is what she did. She didn't work. She had 2 other kids from her previous marriage. She and her wife devoted their life to stopping federal agents from arresting violent, illegal alien criminals. Like whom, you ask? It's amazing. I mean, if you look the right places, you find out who exactly she was there fighting for, protecting, she and her wife. Let me find some of the people that they're protecting. It's like they don't even care. They hate ICE. Oh, here's one. Here's one they grabbed yesterday in Minneapolis from the Daily Wire. I get his name. ICE arrested Somali national Abdikhani Noor Ibrahim, a registered sex offender who was convicted of 17 crimes, including 4 counts of larceny, vehicle theft, receiving stolen property, forgery, domestic violence, threatening terroristic state offenses, driving under the influence, intimidation, escape from custody, and property damage. That's who they arrested. That's who Renee Good and her wife were trying to protect. And if you follow Homeland Security or Tricia McLaughlin or any, they post the names, mugshots, the charges. These are violent. Is this enough? This is from Bill Malusian, another terrific reporter. Here's another one of the folks, one of the neighbors that Jacob Fry and Tim Walz are protecting. This is whom Renee Good gave her life for. Another Somali illegal alien arrested in Minneapolis had a prior conviction of first-degree criminal conduct for forcing a victim to perform oral sex on him multiple times. Mahad Al-Qadar Youssef has prior arrests for first-degree assault and an active warrant for obstructing police. They had previously tried to arrest him, ICE says, but the building manager blocked ICE. This time they got him in a targeted operation. ICE said, quote, thanks to the sanctuary policies of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry, this dangerous criminal was free to prowl the streets and victimize Minneapolis residents for years. And there he is, if you're watching along, this is mugshot, a violent sexual predator from Somalia. Renee Good gave her life. Renee Good left her son without a mother so she could protect that man right there. And what does Tim Walz do? Let's get to tampon. Tim Walz says we are heading to a showdown. He wants to use the National Guard to stop ICE from arresting people like that Somalian sexual predator. And he says this guy has lost it. Okay, just so you know, he's not going to make it 11 more months. He has lost his mind. He's comparing the situation in Minneapolis to Gettysburg, to the Civil War. Listen to this absolute lunatic.
Our history. When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy.
Hold the line on democracy. I just explained to you what ICE is doing there, who they're grabbing, who they're arresting. The law. That is the law. And they're arresting illegal alien criminals. It's not even just an illegal alien who crossed the border and went on welfare. That's a guy raping children. And he compares his effort to protect him to the Civil War, to Gettysburg. He doesn't just need handcuffs. He needs a straitjacket. He doesn't need a cell. He needs a rubber room. He has been, Trump and Kristi Noem and ICE have broken this pathetic, sad excuse for a man. Really is embarrassing. All right, before we move on, got to get to so much more here on this crazy Friday. I want to get to this New York City scene. Again, I mentioned these protests breaking out everywhere. They're going to continue. We're heading into the weekend. We've seen this before. We've seen how this plays out. You have, again, thousands of, or maybe millions of just empty souls, just lost souls with no purpose. And they see this and they say, I want to be part of that. They hate Trump. So they say, why not go out there and protect Somalian rapists? It gives me some meaning, some purpose in my life. This is going to build. And they don't need to care about Renee Good. They don't care about Renee Good. They're glad they got a martyr. They got other things to scream about. They go start chanting Free Palestine again, or stop oil and fight climate change. Doesn't matter. They're going to take to the streets, and it's going to get worse. Here's a scene in New York last night using what happened in Minneapolis these are anarchists. These are anti-American, violent anarchists chanting for the death of ICE agents and the death of Kristi Noem. Check it out. Tied. Kill on ICE. Kristi Noem must hang, and they're tired of being peaceful to their oppressor. This was last night in New York. This is Mom Donnie's New York, calling for the hanging of Kristi Noem. Now, I didn't get the report on how many arrests were made, but this can't go on. We can't just accept this in cities. The threat of violence, calling for them to kill ICE agents. This only happens on the left, obviously. You know, this didn't happen when Charlie Kirk was killed. There were no violent protests. But since Renee Good put herself in harm's way and got killed, they're going to use it as an excuse to call for the death of ICE agents, the death of Kristi Noem, the death of Donald Trump. And we can't just allow it. This should have been, these are violent threats. It's not First Amendment. These people should be arrested. But it's Mom Donnie's New York. They had a protest outside a temple, a synagogue, waving Hamas flags last night in New York. That's what we're talking about now in our biggest city. Just lawlessness, chaos, anarchy. It's going to get worse. All right. I want to get to this Tom Homan interview with that new CBS superstar, Tom, whatever his name is, Dukapil, Tony Dukapil. He's the new hope, the great hope of CBS, which is not going to, be like the rest of the mainstream media. They're going to be independent. They're going to be impartial. We'll see. We'll get to Dukapil with Homan, and we're going to do our NFL picks. This is a great weekend of football. I don't care how cold it gets. I'm going to be in an NFL trance for 3 days. I'm looking forward to it. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
The new year used to mean something simple. It wasn't about slogans or grand declarations. It was about taking stock in your life and promising yourself you'd do better. You'd work a little harder, be a little stronger, show up for the people who depend on you. We didn't make excuses. We didn't cut corners. That's why I work with Beam. Beam is a company proudly founded in America, run by people who share our values, and they've built products that help you keep your promises that you make to yourself, the promises that actually matter. That's why you need to try their best-selling Dream Powder. It's a healthy nighttime blend packed with proven ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and of course, melatonin. It's designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling amazing. Dream is made right here in America, supporting jobs and the principles we stand for. No shortcuts, no junk. Until I started using Dream, I didn't know what a great night's sleep could mean to me. So if you've been waiting for the right time to try Dream, this is it. They're offering my listeners an exclusive discount going into the new year. Go to shopbeam.com/Jerry. Use code word Jerry to get my exclusive offer for up to 40% off Beam's Dream Powder. With my discount, Jerry, you can get the best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. So seriously, think about it. How much would you pay for a truly great night's sleep? With my discount, it's just $1.25 per night. So go to shopbeam.com/Jerry today. Before we get to our NFL picks, I want to get to J.D. Vance too. He was great yesterday. I love J.D. Vance's approach here. He just was on fire yesterday. We don't have to get to, we'll get the Holman thing. But Vance is so different, so refreshing. He went up there and he made it clear that Renee Good put herself in that position. She was a left-wing deranged, called her deranged. She is. She not anymore. She was. And it was so different. Remember what happened when, Border Patrol was whipping Haitian migrants? They weren't. It was made up. It was a lie. But our president went in front of the cameras, blamed the Border Patrol, the hardworking Border Patrol agents, for this made-up hoax, said they were going to be brought to justice. They were exonerated. He never apologized. Remember when Barack Obama went to Dallas for a funeral of 5 cops who were killed by a BLM activist? He blamed the cops. He said the cops are to share the blame. I mean, it's so refreshing to have a guy who tells the truth and does it and defends cops, defends truth, tells the truth, defends people putting their lives on the line to defend this country, doesn't side with the radicals and the anarchists. This is so different, and he does it so articulately. Let's do it. Let's play him calling out the media, who are the promulgators of all these hoaxes, these Democrat hoaxes, who are part of the Democrat machine that pushes these hoaxes on mush-minded, gullible people like Renee Good. Go ahead.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the president of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws.
That is so good. I cannot wait to vote for this man. That is your 48th president, God willing. He mentioned that story. How many networks or mainstream outlets mentioned that the agent who shot Renee Good in self-defense was dragged 6 months ago by an illegal alien? He was in Minneapolis, not far from where he shot her. He's there every day doing God's work. Here's who he was trying to apprehend. The guy wouldn't roll down his window, wouldn't produce ID. His name is Roberto Carlos Munez Guatemala. That's his name. A child sex offender. Wouldn't roll down his window. He broke in through the back window, tried to open the door and apprehend this violent sexual predator, illegal alien. The driver took off, dragged him 300 feet. He got badly hurt, 33 stitches. That same guy was supposed to, allow Renee Good to run him over? Here's the story. Munez Guatemala, a child sex offender, an illegal alien from Mexico, attempted to evade law enforcement and dragged an ICE officer down the street with his car. Thankfully, the officer is expected to make a full recovery, said spokesman Tricia McLaughlin. Illegal alien has been committing violent crimes in the U.S. for 15 years. A convicted child sex offender has a rap sheet that includes arrests for domestic violence and multiple driving offenses. She says, Tim Walz, this sicko, was living in Minnesota without consequence. Instead of comparing ICE to the Gestapo, Walz should be thanking brave law enforcement for arresting these violent criminals. But he won't. He will not. He will blame ICE. He wants this monster in his city. All Democrats do. They want to protect people like Roberto Carlos Munez Guatemala, a violent sexual predator. Fortunately, this brave ICE officer who was dragged 300 feet and hurt stopped him. They arrested him. They deported him. That is a good thing. This guy is a hero, and Democrats want him dead. All right, let's get to our NFL picks. Ironhead. I love this weekend. It's not the best weekend. Next weekend is because you get the top seeds, but it's pretty damn good, and it's pretty damn wide open. We have 6 NFL games this week. The best one, I think, is on Prime, which I hate when they're on Prime because, I can't flip around. But anyway, we got 6 games. We have no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. It's wide open. The top 4 seeds.
And no Miami Dolphins.
None of the quarterbacks of the top 4 teams has ever won a playoff game. Yeah. Josh Allen has never won a road playoff game, and he's going to Jacksonville. This could be my favorite game. By the way, many of the road teams are favored, which is a little odd. Buffalo, 1.5-point favorite. Here's Josh Reed going into Jacksonville, which is tough. This is a good game, man. Josh Reed, 0-4 on the road. John McDermott, 0-5 on the road in the playoffs. And Buffalo's banged up. Everyone just looks and says, Josh Reed's great, and Josh Allen's great, and he is. But right now, so is Trevor Lawrence, so are the Jacksonville Jags. I am taking the underdog, Jacksonville, at home. You?
I'm taking the Bills. I hate Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think he's going to do anything special.
All right, good. I'm putting down my picks right here, so I won't forget them. Houston at Pittsburgh. This I have I'm 100% on the road favorite, Houston, who have won 9 straight and have the best defense in the NFL. Pittsburgh just looks flawed, man. That was an unbelievable win. I mean, they needed a rookie kicker to miss a easy kick.
His coach got fired because of that kick.
Got the coach fired, who's not going to be unemployed for long. But I love the Texans in this. I like watching Aaron Rodgers. I have nothing against him or Mike Tomlin, but Texans win this, I think, easily. You?
I'm going with Pittsburgh. Mainly because it's in Pittsburgh. It's going to be freezing, and Houston is a dome team. And still Aaron Rodgers until he's
Houston has a badass defense. All right, Green Bay at Chicago. This is your favorite game.
It's going to be a great game.
Again, Green Bay on the road favored by 1.5 points. They're banged up. They're hurt. Packers have, I believe, lost 4 in a row. They're stumbling, staggering into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going with the home underdog, Chicago.
I'm going with the road Green Bay Packers because I'm not going to believe in nail polish until it proves something.
Nail polish has been playing well, man. He surprises me every time. I thought he'd be a bust. He is not a bust. San Francisco at Philadelphia, another easy one, in my opinion. San Francisco scored 3 points the other day with the title on the line. They lost to Seattle. They're going into Philadelphia. Philadelphia favored by 4.5.
I have at 5.5.
You got 5.5. Whatever. We'll call it 5. Philadelphia is going to win that one. You?
I agree. Easy too.
All right. Yeah. And you know what else is easy? Actually, yeah, it's easy. This is a weird one, huh? The Los Angeles Rams at Carolina. The Rams go on the road across the country, and they're favored by 10.5.
It's a lot.
Here's an interesting stat. The Panthers, division winners, this season have a minus 69 point differential. They've been outscored by 69. The Rams, on the other hand, have a plus 172, and everyone is expecting the Rams to win. Do they win by 10 plus points, Ironhead?
I think they're going to win like 35-10.
I'm with you. You know why? I always feel like when a team is getting beaten and it's an elimination game, there's a give up factor. When they know it's over, if they're down 10, they know it's over. So they're not going to be grinding out that last 3 points or whatever. So I'm with you. I take the favorites. And now the big one here, another good one, Los Angeles Chargers at New England. New England at home favored by 3.5. Here's what all the national guys are doing. They're pointing out first and foremost how easy the Patriots schedule was. Check this out. the 10th easiest schedule since the merger in 1970 and the easiest schedule since 1999, since before Tom Brady was in college, the last time a team had a schedule this easy. But I've watched every game. Their schedule is easy, but they are good. Their quarterback is great. Their offensive coordinator is putting them in the right positions. And you know what else? They believe. I think this team is confident going into at least to this game. So, and the Chargers have like the worst offensive line, so they'll get to Herbert, and the Patriots will win, and I think win easily. You?
I agree with that. Herbert he might be the most overrated quarterback of my lifetime. I'm not saying he's bad, but they're putting him up there with all the all-time greats in some of these conversations, and I don't understand it.
He's good, but he's beaten up. He's taking a beating. He's going to continue to take up beatings.
Doesn't he have a broken hand right now too? I know it's a left hand, but
not his throwing hand. But everyone's banged up. There's obviously injuries. Everyone talks about injuries. They're all limping into the playoffs. It's a brutal game, and everyone has their injuries. And I think Patriots win this easily and move on. Yeah, look, Herbert. Last playoff game for Justin Herbert, you know what he did versus the Jaguars? Threw 4 picks.
I was going to say 3. I was going to guess 3.
I think he had 3 for the whole season, and he went into the playoffs and threw 4. So I think he's going to try to do too much. He's going to get beaten, knocked around, and Patriots going to have a couple picks. Yeah. And they're going to roll into the second round.
They just got to not take their foot off the gas like they've seemed prone to do, and just remember it's the playoffs and not to do that.
I think they remember. You think they don't remember it's the playoffs? These games are going to be cold, too. This is a night game.
Yeah. It's going to be freezing. That Bills game, they were up 24-0 and just stopped playing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That was a bad one. I mean, they are what are the Patriots, 13-4?
Yes.
No,
14-3.
14-3. They could seriously be 16-1 or 17-0. They didn't get blown out. I mean, they lost to the Raiders, which is hard to believe, but that was 100 years ago.
Week 1.
They are good. They are rolling. They are well coached.
And that game is the reason we're not the 1 seed.
They are. That's true. They have a coach and they have a quarterback. Those are kind of important things. So. All right, do we have time? Do I have time to do a couple comments? We got a million of them here. I forgot about this. Let me see before we wrap this up. Last night on TV, Tina Kotex pretty much told the city to rise up against federal agents and fight them. It sounds like they want them to do their dirty work. Yes, they do. Elected Democrats are calling out the mobs. They want the mobs. They want the anarchy. It works for them. Those are not only do they share their beliefs, their values, their rage, they want it. They want it because they'll blame Trump. Debbie says these people need to stay home and let the men do their jobs. These protests are ridiculous. I'm a mother of 6. Would never put myself in danger. I know. I think of that every time they say this mother of a 6-year-old. Well, she dropped her kid off at school. Yes, she dropped her kid off at school and then went immediately to obstruct ICE and put herself in danger. At best, she gets roughed up and arrested. Is that an act of a mother, of a loving mother? She should have been worried about her children. She has 3 children. She's gone now. They have no mother because she was protecting, Mexican sexual predators. Insane. City officials, March says, need to be investigated. They're doing the same thing in Portland that they did in Minneapolis. Yes, they are. You're going to, no question. You know that city council, the Somali guy, he is devoted to bringing in more Somalis to Portland. And you think he's bringing them there just to, work? He's bringing them there because they're running the same scams. They're running them everywhere. That's what we're going to find out. I can't wait to see. Truth be told, says I can't wait to see a local law enforcement officer try to arrest an ICE agent. Just can't wait. That is true. That is going to happen, and that is going to be that they know they have no right. They know that federal law trumps local law, and they can't stop them from wearing masks or as Eric Swalwell wants, stop them from driving. Yes, a congressman says he wants the state of California to suspend the driver's licenses so ICE can't drive around and arrest violent illegal aliens. That's a congressman. These people have lost their minds. Eric Swalwell's just another angry white lady raging out. And I guess, it works. He's leading in the polls to be the next governor. You think it couldn't get worse in California? They're going to vote for Eric Swalwell for governor. That is amazing. But all right, that will do it for today and for this crazy week. It's going to get worse. Jacob Fry is ranting and raving. By the way, he's involved too. His wife is a lawyer who represents the scam artists who ran the Feed the Future scam that stole $300 million from taxpayers. Jacob Fry's in it up to his eyeballs as well. Now we know why he's waving the Somali flag and eating disgusting Somali food, because he's in on it, just like Walls. We need arrests. Hopefully those will come soon, maybe even this weekend. We'll see. But that will do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again
and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden.